Mall.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
That
life
dog
doesn't always
does
give you
not
time
want
to
to be
change the
petted.
outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the
The
1-minute
preemies.
test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
For over 8 years, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in
Do you have the beatus?
50,000 satisfied
The
patients.
diabetes.
People with knee and back pain now living pain-free. Shoulder and hip pain gone. QC Kinetics uses regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in your achy joints. They're using
I had a thick case of the beatus when I was 13 years old. I didn't come out of my room for 6 days.
way to give your joints new life, repairing old tissue.
You're
Best
an
part,
idiot.
with QC Kinetics, there are no drugs, no surgeries involved, and there's no
Is this the last
downtime.
commercial?
This is an all-natural cellular level option with lasting relief. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing.
Yes.
Doing all the
Simple.
things you enjoy this summer without being slowed down by that awful joint pain in your knees or back. Call QC Kinetics now. And
We got to
learn about
shout
these
out
cutting-edge
Timothy O'Toole
treatments
at some
that
point in
can
the first
help you
segment. He
live
just
your best
finished
life.
first year of
Call
law school.
828-33.
Nice. That'll come in real handy when we need a lawyer about 2 years.
Call 828-333.
So the following program will be recorded.
From the Ingalls studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good. The Sportsocracy.
You are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, green. That's green. Enter it now.
Go to ESPNAVL.com to play, and good luck.
Live from the Ingalls studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chat for what is going to be round 2 of the first round of the Damn It's Early mock draft. It's a mock draft Tuesday here in the Sportsocracy.
Anybody can just give you a mock draft. How many people will dig in for 4 solid hours on guys that may or may not even be drafted? Let's go.
I feel like at this point, if you don't have guys that are going to be drafted, maybe pick another profession. Like, I know you can't control who comes out and who doesn't.
For sure.
But the talent's going to be there.
That's what I was talking about, is that
Okay,
Arch Manning
all right.
may or may not be in this thing.
Okay, I was going to say, like, we know, we
look,
feel pretty certain all these guys are going to get drafted.
So long as we have 64 legs and 64 arms and they are connected to 32 torsos, all 32 of these guys will get drafted next year. It might not be in the first round, but I feel pretty solid.
Yes,
I'm going to I want to forewarn everybody of what version of me you're going to get today.
Okay.
Did you ever watch Blue's Clues with your kids?
Mm-hmm. I did.
And Steve would get real excited because we just got a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel, because I came up with an idea before Tank and I started doing this show that he was lukewarm on at best. I was super excited. And now, as an entryway into the behind closed doors of how this show works,
yes,
that means it's going to happen.
More than likely.
Yes, because it's when I'm lukewarm and Tank is super excited that I go, no, we're not going to Richmond for a NASCAR race.
To Richmond.
But when I get excited, it means something that is going to involve very little sleep for us and very cool things for you.
Yes. Already putting together the plans for the Living the Dream Tour Part 2.
I will give a little hint in the way of derision at someone I grew up with. I used to be a club DJ. I had a friend in the business who had 4 children by 4 women. We called him DJ 4x4. This would be 5x5. And it has nothing to do with kids.
Yes.
So, if you're smart enough to figure that out, you're a witch, and you should probably come to work for us. But there's your clue.
Or you should just get out of our heads. How about that?
Yeah. If you can figure this one out, you're a witch. Because I don't think anybody would see it and go, nobody would be stupid enough to try to do that. Hi. Have you met us?
Yep.
We are indeed stupid enough to try to do this.
It is another mock draft day here in the Sportsocracy. We will finish out the first round of the 2026. Damn, it's early mock draft as we got through 16 picks yesterday. So we'll do the other half of the first round in the final 2 hours of today's program. Just giving your first look at this year's class of prospects as Jeremy gets prepared to just, go more all in. I was trying to figure out a way to say that. I don't know. Like, I felt like you went all in this year, and then now you're talking about, like, doubling down and going doubly in next year. Which, Godspeed, man.
Are we talking about for the draft?
Yes.
Bill Workman's already got a top 300, bruh.
Oh, I get it.
I mean, I'm just telling you, we in this piece. we doing stuff.
Oh, man.
Yeah, look, you did this. You're the one that came to me and said, we're going to do a way too early mock draft, 51 weeks before the draft. And I said, I don't do that. And you said, well, you do now. And my wife hates you right now, by the way. I mean, she despises you.
I did not give you any
She
time
got
off.
1 week of me going to bed at a normal time, being a normal human being. In the last 2 nights, I have not laid down before 5 o'clock.
Oh, my gosh. Why?
Because you did it.
You did it. Too much. You're doing too much.
Hey, look, after this mock draft is done, things are happening.
Uh-huh.
We're probably going to we will probably have a day off this week. I'm not sure which day that will be.
Yep.
Because we're in full-on business mode. Most people wouldn't think this looking at me, but when it's business time, I put on my business socks, and we get to business.
I think we got it. Alex S. 5 monsters, 5 tequila shots, 5 Taco Bell tacos, and 5 bathroom explosions in 5 hours.
That sounds terrible. Also sounds like Tuesday.
Exactly.
Hey, it is Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Jeremy's Taco Tuesday.
Let's go. It's trivia night at the Village Porch, which means, there's probably tequila in my future.
Did you celebrate last night? Did you do anything for Cinco de Mayo?
Cinco de Drinko? No, I don't do that one. That's one of those that's amateur. That's where you get Kelly. Never experience the full Kelly nights. That's where you get the girl that drinks 3 times a year, and she shows up and wants to tell you her life story after she met Don Julio twice. I'm good. There is nothing you could say that I have any interest in. You could give me the winning Powerball numbers. I won't get through all 6 of them because you will irritate me to such a point that I'll go home.
It sounds like one of those models on that boat in Miami over the weekend. Did you hear about that story?
I did not.
So, first off, did you know that Lamborghini made yachts? I did not.
I didn't either, but now I don't want anything more in life. That's my new goal.
Lamborghini makes boats, and a $4 million Lamborghini yacht, which it's not. When I say yacht, I don't want you to get the wrong picture because this is like an oversized speedboat.
You're not talking Shad Khan yacht.
No, not like one of the double, triple decker things that you can land a helicopter on and all that. No, this. I mean, it's a sizable boat.
That's what I want. I want the triple decker boat.
You can fit 16 people on this boat. So I mean, it's sizable, but it's not huge. But it is still a $4 million Lamborghini boat, which they don't know what happened to the boat, but it started to sink down in the Bay of Biscayne, I think it was, right off of the Miami coast. There were 32 bikini-clad social media wannabes on the boat at the time. And some of the TikToks and stuff that they filmed are super hilarious. Oh my God, the boat's sinking. Look, y'all. Don't it look so good?
But I got this eyeliner. Sorry. It's water soluble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were 32 of them on a boat that holds 16 people.
Yep.
And shocker of shockers, it sank.
Yep.
And whoever owns that $4 million boat, whew, they had a bad day.
Yeah,
they
you know where they should have taken that instead of Miami, which is, by the way, the most overrated city in the world. Zach Hurst got it right in the YouTube comments. They should have taken that out to the Pterodactyl Bay Pleasure Club.
No doubt.
Put it on the Lake Michigan and just enjoyed a little trip in Wisconsin.
That's right, near a mansion in Wisconsin.
God, that's a show I want to watch. We put 16 Instagram influencers in the Pterodactyl Bay Pleasure Club. They only have one bar to go to, and it is the Boot Scoot out there on
the Boot Scootin' Bowling Club.
The Boot Scootin' Boosie's Bowling Club. Which one will tap out first? 4 minutes in. I don't have any Wi-Fi. They can't update my followers. They're happy about that.
Sir Jimothy is correct in the YouTube comments. Conor McGregor has one of those Lambo boats. That just tells you the clientele.
See, I want to be successful enough in life that I can buy the Shad Khan boat. And then I will be a supervillain that Batman has to vanquish. Because I'll go full Elon Musk and just sit out on my boat and stew on things.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
I asked myself that many times throughout the course of this program.
It's usually the funniest stuff we do.
It's very true.
I'll be honest with you. I've long said we should do one show a week, probably on Thursdays, where we just don't script anything. You and I just talk for 3 hours. It would be the most hilarious, debaucherous thing you've ever heard in your life. We would only do it one time, and I'm not sure we would get to the end of the first day.
No,
before somebody came in and went, no.
Especially not on FCC radio.
For sure. That's a YouTube exclusive.
Top story of the day in the football world is Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker, go bye-bye.
I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, what is there to talk about?
Right.
He may or may not have done bad things. We don't know. Guilty until proven, innocent until proven guilty. I almost said that backwards. That's how the public views things. I don't know if he did anything or not. I know he was a bad football kicker last year, and the Baltimore Ravens went, yep, not worth this headache. Bye-bye.
Nope.
We'll bring in Tyler Loop.
Yep, there's a threshold. And we all know what that threshold is. Right? The threshold where your talent and your attention level are they need to at least be even. And if the talent drops below that interest level or trouble level, there's no saving you.
$250 million quarterbacks get a lot of leeway. Kickers don't.
And it doesn't matter if you're the greatest kicker of all time. Which Justin Tucker, statistically, he's still the most accurate kicker of all time in the NFL.
Stephen Tout, great Raven fan and supporter of this here program. The Ravens have more information than we do. That's all I'll say on the matter. It's all it really needs to be said on the matter.
Yeah.
Is they know things that you don't. If they're willing to tap out on a guy who probably was going to be the first kicker in the history of the NFL to have his jersey retired by a team, you can just assume that they know some things probably weren't awesome.
Yeah, no.
Now, the question is, does he get signed by another team, and why is that team the Cleveland Browns?
Can't possibly.
We have shown that we are not moralists here in Cleveland.
Apparently not. I mean, they did the Deshaun Watson thing.
No, Justin Tucker
took a chance.
Justin Tucker did the Deshaun Watson thing. That's why we're in this situation.
That is true. They both did.
Yes.
Don't
be weird. I mean, this is just a really good time to. Don't be weird. Stop getting massages. Stop letting random people. Stop that. It's weird. It's a weird thing that people do, and I'll never understand it.
It's not a weird thing.
It is a weird thing.
You're weird.
It is a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I pay $100. How much is a massage? I have genuinely no idea.
I mean, it depends. I mean, you can go to one of these retail places and get this massage for like $60, something like that.
Okay, so I'm going to give you. I'm going to draw you a parallel, and I'm going to ruin massages for you for the rest of your life. Would you go to a steakhouse, pay the $75 that you would pay at a regular retail? You said retail, so I'm going. I'm thinking all the retail steakhouses.
Okay.
Would you go there, eat the bread, have the salad, eat the baked potato, have the sad piece of cheesecake, drink your beer, and go home with no steak? That's a massage in a nutshell. You paid retail price for everything except the one thing you came for.
Oh, my God. That's the biggest problem with all of it.
Bingo.
Is you think if you signed up to get a massage, then I'm getting my dinger touched, and that's not how this works.
I'm good. I don't want strangers to touch me ever. My biggest qualm with meeting people is how many of them want to hug me. I do not want to be touched. I will shake your hand. I will take pictures with you. I will talk to you. I met 2 guys the other night I talked to for like 2 hours. I love talking to people. Just for the love of God, don't touch me. I don't like to be touched.
Yeah.
It's like a Disney movie. Only the ending was happy. Detroit fan man, you win today. 15 minutes, I think I'm good. I think I can just go home now. Oh, wait, I'm already home. Uh-oh.
You are. You are indeed. Good Lord. Baltimore Ravens letting go of Justin Tucker. And once again, they say it was a football decision. And I will say, yes, there was football made in that decision. There was football taken into account in that decision. Justin Tucker was not good last year. He had the worst. He was like the 31st ranked kicker in the league. It's the worst season by far he's had in his career. Missed like 10 kicks. There was football in that decision. But don't tell me that was just a football decision, because we all know you're lying. You're lying, Eric.
Well, I also will say you can be a moralist all you want to, but if Justin Tucker had been Justin Tucker last year, we're probably not down this rabbit hole as far as we already are.
Maybe. Maybe not. This day and age, that's hard to come back from. You get that many accusers, that's
one of the stories we know nothing about.
Sure.
We literally know nothing about any of this. But Baltimore does.
Mm-hmm.
And Baltimore went, we're good. That's really all I needed to know.
Exactly.
Especially a team that has notoriously stood behind their guys.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Rice, he didn't get cut immediately. Ray Lewis, they went all the way through a murder trial.
Mm-hmm.
He stuck around. Justin Tucker,
gone. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
What's the best place to reach new customers for your business? Wherever they are. And that's exactly where you can be with iHeartMedia. We talk to our listeners everywhere, from the car to the gym to the kitchen. Your next customer is listening. And not only can we get your message to your audience, we can also show you how it's working in real time. That goes for broad brand messaging and targeted hyperlocal influencer campaigns.
That was the most off-the-rails opening 15 minutes we've ever done.
iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Hello, I'm John Lithgow.
And before you give yourself a tonsillectomy, you might want to wait for me to switch to
podcast about Buzz Aldrin, one of the true pioneers of space.
You're a great pilot, Buzz.
That's the story you think you know. This is the story you don't. Buzz, starring me, John Lithgow.
Listen to Buzz on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Buzz to start listening.
Looking for something fresh on Thursday nights? Join us at Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue for WTF Thursdays. That's Women to the Front, a new live music series spotlighting incredible solo female artists. Every Thursday from 6:30 till 8:30 p.m. in partnership with WTF Fest, we're bringing powerful performances and good vibes to the stage. It's free, it's fun, and it's all about supporting women in music. WTF Thursdays at Bear Smokehouse Barbecue, downtown Asheville.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
At Ingles, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard, which is why we rise to the challenge of providing the freshest items you'll find anywhere. Getting our foods from the farms we support, to the stores we love, to the tables.
I was hoping somebody saw you with doing the gross thing that I was having to witness.
I couldn't help it.
I was really hoping somebody else saw that.
Some of our very own Parks Community Heroes, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Like Daniel, a veteran who accompanied law enforcement and other veterans to perform search and rescue operations. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Wheels for Meals of Western North Carolina is doing it again. Their next car show for a cause is coming up Saturday, May 24th. Cars Against Breast Cancer at the Advanced Auto Parts in Oakley Plaza, 801 Fairview Road. It'll be an afternoon of family-friendly fun with a 50-50 and raffle prizes, including a PS5 and the grand prize, a week in a condo in Myrtle Beach, Tennessee, or Virginia. There'll be live music, face painting, and games for the kids. Join Wheels for Meals Western North Carolina, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., Saturday, May the 24th at Oakley Plaza.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We are back in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. It's a Tuesday afternoon, off season. You know, there's not a lot going on. It's just a relaxing kind of a day, right? And it's not.
You speak for yourself. I'm way more relaxed when we can talk about football. Now I'm trying to rein myself in. I keep thinking about this 5x5 idea, just going, I'm gonna do it. I feel like a dog, like I'm sitting up, gonna bite. I'm gonna. You open that door, I'm gonna bite you.
Jeremy's already getting excited about the football season.
Well, it's an interesting year, you know. And I think we can be honest about this. Tank and I basically conspire these ideas when the time is there. So we do like an hour pre-production before we do this, which usually involves way less talking about this than you would think. And we get down these rabbit holes where Tank starts talking about the Hall of Fame and I'm talking about the schedule for next year, and we're just overlapping each other. Neither one of us is actually responding to what the other one's saying. We're both hearing what the other one's saying. And then Tank lets me get too far down a rabbit hole, and I go, "Well, this is what we're doing now." So
it's like that old. It's like that old TV show, Point Counterpoint, except for we're not talking about the same things. I'll throw a fact out there, and then he'll throw one right back at me about whatever subject he's focusing on. It's very, very strange. But I mean, we get to this point where we start cleaning up from the draft and we start making the preparations for what's to come in the next 5 months. Right, we got OTAs happening or getting ready to happen. We've got, I think we're like 5 weeks away from OTAs and stuff. It's not that far before the
season starts September the 4th.
Yeah,
that's 4 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize how many things we have to clean up between now and then?
Right.
We got to talk about off-season grades. I, at some point, still have to record draft grades because I got down this Living the Dream tour, and that's all I've done. And this stupid mock draft that you made me do, which I'm still angry about. I'm prepping for next year. We've got a new podcast starting on June 4th. Mm-hmm. We've got Chris Womack coming in for Wednesdays starting on June 4th. It's a lot of stuff.
It is.
No two dudes that are this stupid do this much. I feel very sure of that.
August 23rd is when the college football season will kick off. Then you have the NFL season kicking off the week after that. Or, well, I guess 23rd's week 0, so it'll be the week after week 1. The NFL will kick off, so 2 weeks after the 23rd. Then you have just all of the preparation that goes into that. Speaking of coming up next week, we'll have I believe we'll have a special live show on Wednesday night next week, won't we?
Yes,
as we typically do for the schedule release. So we've got that coming up.
Oh, that reminds me. I've got to get you this little box to put in your house, along with your microphone that you left in my bag in Green Bay.
Yes.
I have to be in the studio tomorrow, so I'll bring that to you tomorrow.
Excellent. Do you still have that box of cookies that my mom left?
I don't know where that went.
Really?
We lost a whole box of food somewhere. I'm convinced somewhere between Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Asheville, North Carolina, there was a hobo that ate a straight-up raw frozen bratwurst because they're all gone.
All of it.
And a bottle of mustard, which I saw it in the truck. I physically laid eyes on it. And when we got back here, it was gone.
That's the weirdest thing.
It's driven me insane. It's the case of the lost mustard. And I don't even care. I've got a gigantic bottle in my refrigerator. I can go to Ingles at any time. Low prices, love the savings. Replace it. I don't even care, but I want to know where it went. There is a bed cover on the truck. It could not have flown out.
This is very irritating.
It drives me crazy. I have this weird feeling that it's sitting in the standby lot at O'Hare.
Probably.
That woman was super ready for you to move that gigantic truck. We could not find a bag for Jonathan Welch, and it was pan-delirium.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if I die and I go to the bad place, you rest assured, I'm working TSA at O'Hare. You come visit me at any time because I will be working TSA at O'Hare. And trying to park a truck in where was I? I had stopped somewhere and I was trying to park the Parks Ford Mobile Studio somewhere, and it was not fun.
Mm-hmm.
This woman was trying to back out. I went, no, honey, that's not going to work. Do you see how long this truck is? You got to go that way.
Football season is right around the corner. Today, we did have a story come out about schedules. Not this year's schedule, but future schedules. Clemson and Notre Dame are going to hook up every year for a 12-year period starting in 2027. To me, that's absolute brilliant move by the Clemson Tigers. You had to make sure to get this deal done, to me, to keep yourself relevant, to guarantee you that you're going to have good games. Because I don't know where we stand with the whole Clemson and Clemson and Florida State are wanting to leave the ACC.
They've been acquiesced for now.
That whole topic has just completely died out after they said, "Well, we'll rearrange. We'll rearrange the formula here." So based on TV ratings, they came up with the sliding scale, correct, of how much money you're going to be able to collect on the broadcasting rights.
I will never. If I live to be 200 years old, I will never understand how the non-Florida State, non-Clemson teams in the ACC agreed to that. Highest rated in the ACC, this happened sometime during the draft season because I pulled this stat. In the last 5 years, top 25 highest rated games in the ACC. How many of them involved either Clemson or Florida State or both?
Oh, how many was it?
Out of 25.
Oh, I would say 22.
It's 23. 23 either had Clemson or Florida State or both in a couple instances.
Yeah. There are only a few brands, and when I say a few, there are 2 football brands in the ACC.
Oh, don't undersell the fighting Chapel Bills. Look, we're going to see it. Fun. We're going to be there. We're going to bear witness to whatever this excrement show could possibly be. My question is, how much money do I have to spend to watch this game with Jordan?
Oh, way too much.
Jordan, that's called a screen. I feel like you should know that if you're running PR for a college football team.
I mean, the prices of North Carolina Tar Heel football tickets easily doubled with the hiring of Bill Belichick.
They went up. They didn't go up as much as I thought.
And in some cases, I'll bet you're going to pay 20 times as much to get into some of these games as you would have previously.
Oh, we're
because,
not.
Do what?
I said we're not.
Oh, no. But I mean,
it's the beauty of official affiliate of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Thank you.
But the Tar Heels, when they play Richmond, that's a good one. They'll be playing Richmond on September the 13th in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The cheapest ticket for that game, I'm going to click on here and make sure. Pull it up on Vivid Seats. $142 is the cheapest ticket to see Carolina and Richmond. That's a game last year you could have got into for $26. Day before the game, no doubt you could have got in for $26. And now you can't get in for $150 because you got to pay all the fees and stuff.
Kelvin Joyner had a good point in our YouTube chat that I want to touch on because this wasn't an intentional omission. There's a reason we just didn't say it. Okay. He said we were talking like Miami doesn't make money. Miami's private. Miami, USC, you got a handful of these schools across the country. You're private. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how much money you make from TV revenue because you can do things with boosters that the rest of us cannot do. So we didn't leave you out on purpose. You're not in the same vein of a public institution in Clemson, a public institution in Florida State, North Carolina, NC State. You have different advantages that we don't. I also can't see your books. So when we do these things, Miami's just a blank line. It's just, sure, you made money. I don't know what it was, but you don't have to tell me because it's private.
I'm sure Miami,
they print money.
I know
they print money. I know that.
Makes a lot of money for the conference. That is another brand, but kind of where I was heading with that was that, over the last, those are the only championship brands that we have in the ACC.
Oh, it's only because Miami hasn't won one. They're
Miami
still of that echelon, though.
Are they?
For sure. They have a fan base. I'm telling you, Miami rates well. Miami's another one of those that Miami controls the narrative with their television more than Clemson and Florida State do.
But I feel like over the years that has waned. Miami is no longer that top echelon.
They're still a brand. Especially
I consider Virginia Tech to be in the same vein.
Now Virginia Tech
was
waned.
a world beater, but they are vastly different from what they used to be as far as a sellable brand.
Virginia Tech also never rated particularly well.
Mm-hmm.
Their in-stadium experience is out of this world.
Yes.
I've heard the tailgating is out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do what Miami does. They didn't do what Florida State does. They never did. Even in the Michael Vick years, it wasn't like that.
Right.
It was good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to spin you off here like you're Pittsburgh. Sorry. Anytime I get the opportunity to take that shot, I have to. It's like a rule.
But Notre Dame, they're the best brand that we would have if they were a member. If they were a full-time member of the ACC, right now Notre Dame would be the best brand we have. Clemson would be too.
I don't know that I agree with that.
How come?
Oh, well, because Notre Dame's television numbers waned. Over time, Notre Dame has become that school that they will still do a number because they're on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on Peacock, and there's great access to what they do. It's not Notre Dame's not the brand that it once was. Look, I'll be honest with you. If Notre Dame was the brand they once were, they'd already be in a conference. Because right now, everything there is very little trending in your direction to be an independent. You can't get a bye. You're gonna have to play in the first round of this tournament. But we get all the money. Awesome. You'll burn through that money in nothing flat. You know, that little that $10, $15 million, it helps. Don't get me wrong.
See, because I feel like it's exactly opposite. I feel like if Notre Dame was the brand that they used to be, there'd be no shot they'd ever join a conference. Ever. Because they have no reason to. If they could still pull giant numbers on the weekends for the Navy game, then why would they ever join a conference?
There
they would have more power
there are
than they
advantages there that I don't think you're thinking about.
Advantages
in the current landscape, there are advantages to being a conference that, I mean, okay, let's call it what it is. Mm-hmm. Last year, Clemson and SMU play in the ACC title game. All right?
Yep.
Clemson beats SMU. SMU still gets in the playoff. That happened to an independent? Because I go ahead and tell you it doesn't.
No.
Independent, bye. SMU gets a mulligan. Because you played in the ACC title game. We can't punish you for playing in that game, which, let me say this as loudly and proudly as I can. Yes, you can. And when it comes up this year, and you mark my words, it's going to come up this year, yes, you can. And you should.
And you better.
And you should. Because SMU got dog-walked by Penn State, and I would really love to not watch that game again. This is just, it's a weird time in college football, and having to go through the draft process early as I have, you know what I've kind of realized? I'm going to tie two stories together here. We're working on the schedule for Living the Dream. I want to see every player that's in my top 30. That's my objective. Some of these will be kind of out of the way. Some of these will be less than fun travel trips. Some of these I will have to do by myself because Tank can't tear himself away to try for 2 days to get to wherever it is we're going. The reason that I want to see them is that it does help me in the evaluation process to watch them in person, see how they interact on the sideline. There's a lot of things that go into this. That being said, when I broke this down and went, hey, how many schools do I need to see? I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I didn't get to 20. To see 30 players, I didn't get to 20 teams. That should tell you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson's got 5. Miami's got a couple. Georgia has none. That should tell you something.
Right.
Georgia, who is outrageously deep, has nobody. They're not a school that I have to see. They're still fantastic.
I was going to say, should you? Aren't they a team we should see, though?
Well, if they would make it a little bit easier. Hey, when I call a guy back. That's all I'm asking.
Right.
You want to tell me to go pound sand? That's fine. Just tell me to go pound sand.
Right.
Don't leave me on red, bro.
Where this little segment started here, Clemson and Notre Dame signing an agreement that they will play each other 12 years straight, starting in 2027, running through 2038. Is this the start of a new rivalry? Are we accepting of new rivalries in college football? I think the more we add rivalries like this, the better this sport's going to be. And as we continue to move through the realignment of the super conferences, I think it's necessary that we create new traditions. And I think this is a good way to do it. You're taking two of the best brands in the ACC and putting them, making sure that we have them every year.
This is one of those times where I think I'm more of a realist. You can't buy a rivalry. Just because you play it a bunch of times doesn't make it a rivalry. You can do it till you're blue in the face. Clemson fans are never going to hate Notre Dame the way that they hate South Carolina. Notre Dame fans are never going to hate Clemson the way they do USC. It's just not going to happen. No. See, I'm actually going the other way. I think the day of the rivalry is practically dead. I think we're within years of this being just dead. Does Georgia still play Georgia Tech? Sure. Yeah. Does anybody really care? No. No.
We don't really care.
I mean, because in every one of these rivalries, outside of maybe 2 or 3, there's big brother, there's little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Tech's the little brother in that rivalry. Always has been, probably always will be.
Yeah.
Outside of a handful of years in the early 90s and a bad spell for Georgia in the mid-2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, you've been little brother. Sorry. So, I mean, you keep playing it, and we'll let you get mad and say, oh, I hate Big Brother. Well, he's still 6'5", and you're still 5'4", and he's going to punch you in the jejunum, and you're going to cry, and you're going to run to your mom. And the rest of us largely are not going to care.
Right.
It's just like Florida State, Miami. I've been a Florida State fan for 35 years. Florida State, Miami still has juice to me. Florida State, Florida has nothing. That's a dead rivalry.
Is it?
Because Florida State beat your ass like a foghorn leghorn with that dog for the better part of the last 20 years. You had the Tebow years, and then outside of that, I can't remember. Was it Muschamp? Never beat Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
It was either Muschamp. It was one of those. I can't remember which.
Jim McElwain?
Might have been Jim McElwain.
Yeah.
Never beat Florida State. I'll be honest with you. As a Florida State fan, I don't even look at Florida as on our par anymore.
Yeah.
Even having gone 2-10 last year, you ain't like us. You might get a recruit. You got DJ Lagway. That's cute. You still have an inferior coach. You still have absolutely no idea how to run NIL. I'm shocked you're able to keep these players the way that you are. They have 2 guys in the top 30. They have a center and a defensive tackle that are in my top 30 for next year. But long term, if you told me right now I got to bet my house on who wins more games in the next 10 years, Florida State or Florida, I'll take Florida State and we'll think about it for a second.
Right.
Florida State has the worst year in program history. Florida won 5 more games than them last year.
But does that mean the rivalry's dead?
The rivalry, that would be one of those things. I've been in the stadium for that rivalry multiple times. I can tell you the juice is nowhere near where it was.
Sure.
Patrick Anderson has a really good point. West Virginia, Pittsburgh is pretty even over the years. I agree. That's another rivalry that I know quite well. It's because there's no big brother, little brother. Had good years with Pitt, had good years with West Virginia. Florida, Florida State, both of them have lost heat over the years. Neither one of them is a national title contender at this point. Florida State is inferior to Clemson in terms of money and things like that. It showed last year. You have one bad transfer portal class, you're 2-10. Florida wasn't bowl eligible for, 2 of the last 3 years? Do you know how hard you have to work to not be bowl eligible in the current landscape of college football? Yeah, so, you watch that stadium, it's not what it used to be. 2 years ago, they played in a game that Florida could have kept the Florida State out of the playoff. Now, it turns out the committee kept Florida State out of the playoff. Nobody cared.
Yep.
It was a dead stadium. I watched every second of it.
So, if you had to, going down the path here of we're going to get to a point where rivalries don't really exist anymore. How many survive? Just a handful?
The ones where
Ohio State, Michigan, Texas,
and now I think
Oklahoma.
you're taking what I'm saying in a way that I'm not really saying it.
Okay, maybe I'm taking it too literally.
So the fan base of Florida State, they'll always care because you're bred. I hate Florida. What I'm talking about is you. You have no rooting allegiance there. You hate Florida. You could care less about Florida State.
Sure.
That game means less year over year. It has for 20 years.
Unless they're both good.
Which never happens.
And then it would matter.
Look at the last 20 years. Name me the time.
But
name me the times that both those teams have been good.
See,
you know why that doesn't happen? Because Georgia's coming into Florida and pilfering recruits that nobody ever did before. So is Clemson. So is Alabama. So is LSU. So Florida, Florida State, Miami cannot put this hedge around Florida anymore and say we get the best guys from Dade County. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. Look at the recruiting rankings. Last year, top 10 guys in the state. 5 of them didn't go to Florida, Florida State, or Miami.
Yep.
That didn't happen in the 80s. It didn't happen in the 90s. Didn't happen in the 2000s. And over time, the public landscape, the playoff makes you care about teams that are going to get to the playoff. It was always what it was going to do. So now you get, and I'm trying to think of one of these. You know what? I'll use Pittsburgh, West Virginia. I know that one quite intimately well. It has juice to Pittsburgh and West Virginia. Do you care? No, because neither one of those teams is on the national landscape.
Right.
I saw Randall Griffin, Michigan, Ohio State. That will always have juice. You know why? Because those two will always be competitive. Even Michigan with no quarterback, still competitive.
Yep.
South Carolina, Clemson, that has juice here. It doesn't. Do you think somebody in Ohio cares about Clemson and South Carolina? Because I couldn't tell you they don't.
Nope.
And last year you had 2 teams that were in the top 15. Still nobody cared. I got the ratings. It's not hard to prove.
When I moved to Charleston, South Carolina, from here, born and raised here, lived in North Carolina all my life, grew up a Tar Heel fan. I knew that we had like a little rivalry with Clemson. There was the Clemson North Carolina, we didn't really like each other thing, but it's not really a rivalry game, right? North Carolina has their North Carolina rivalries, and that's it. I moved down to Charleston, South Carolina for college, and they started talking about the Clemson-Carolina game, and I was like, I'm surprised that's a big deal to you guys. Why is that a big deal to you guys? I didn't know they were talking about South Carolina. I didn't even know. I knew the schools existed, and I knew they played each other, but I had no clue that was one of the harshest rivalries in all of college football.
That's one of the things that people have to understand is that college football is super regional. Mm-hmm. Super regional. I mean, look, we're two guys. We travel all over this fine land. And you know what I've learned? And I've learned it. I knew it before. I've really learned it in the last year. Just because you care does not mean people outside of your territory care.
Right.
North Carolina, in terms of basketball, it's eat, sleep, and breathe it in the state of North Carolina. Now, that's even waned a little bit over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
You get outside of the state of North Carolina, don't care. Get to Kentucky and start talking to them about Carolina basketball. They'll laugh in your face.
Right. The biggest thing to me about Clemson and Notre Dame is it sounds good in theory right now. My question is I still don't know where Clemson's going.
That's kind of the point I was trying to make.
I don't know what your trajectory is right now. Right now, you're just kind of holding steady. I mean, a good, solid 10-win club in the ACC. Awesome. Is that going to last forever?
That's where I was headed with the rivalry thing. Is not that the state of South Carolina is going to stop caring about South Carolina Clemson. The rest of the country doesn't care. If you want a rivalry to matter, you better be national brands. And just think about the ones that really matter. Michigan, Ohio State. You know what those two teams have in common? They've won the last two national titles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we care about that one because that's two national brands. You want me to tell you how Clemson and Notre Dame are viewed outside of their own little individual echo chamber? Clemson, you're mocked. Universally, everywhere I go, you are mocked everywhere I go. Because you have a coach that nobody buys. They think he's a Johnny Rah-Rah with that hides behind morality and things like that, and that he's not actually that good a coach. That he recruits the parents, and now you don't recruit the parents, and he can't do anything outside of that. I don't know if that's true or not. He had a really good year in the transfer portal. I'm talking about the perception outside of South Carolina. Notre Dame, you're viewed the same way in 49 states that are not the state of Indiana. You are given a lot of leeway and a lot of runway that you don't deserve. And you haven't deserved it for 30 years. That's how you're viewed. And if you want me to be honest, you can name any team. Throw them out there in the chat. I'll tell you how they're viewed.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to scouts all over the NFL. I talk to people all around the NCAA. And in large part, it's almost infallible. You get outside of the media market of a team and ask people that work in that market, they'll tell you how that team's viewed.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is that there's so few that are national brands. Clemson and Notre Dame, it doesn't mean anything to somebody in random state, Missouri. They don't care. Mm-hmm. They look at it as two inferior programs playing each other. Awesome. You're going to beat each other. I'll tell you how this is viewed in other places. I just found out that this had happened. So this is not coming from anybody else. I'll guarantee you this is how people hear that outside of Indiana and South Carolina. Awesome. Now you two are going to beat each other for the next 12 years. All you're going to do is use that as a, see, we can beat somebody good. Meanwhile, the rest of us are going, we beat the bejesus out of both of you. Everybody in the Big Ten's going, we would beat you to death. Everybody in the SEC is saying that about Clemson because they say it every year.
Yeah.
Ask an Alabama fan how they feel about Clemson. Oh, yeah, well, they got us in that national title game, but if we played 10 years, we beat them 8. I didn't say it was true. It's how it's perceived.
Right.
And perception, when we're talking about things like this, is reality. Because if you don't view it to be a big deal, you're not going to watch it. If you don't watch it, it's not going to take off.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's just one of those things. You saw it as, hey, we're trying to start a rivalry. Yeah. I saw it as, hey, we're trying to protect our schedule of the ACC's not doing us any favors right now. Because we have way too many Boston colleges. We have way too many, I'm trying, the dregs of this conference. Syracuse outside of last year. We got too many of those. It's not doing us any favors. We got to have somebody that can prop up the schedule to say, see, we actually play real life teams.
Yep.
And you had to settle for each other.
Mm-hmm. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
ESPN Asheville.
Now we're clear.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Sorry, I went on kind of a
outdoor
tangent there.
stuff this afternoon.
That's all right.
That was one of those times I felt like you had wound up the car and
right
went,
through
go.
Tomorrow afternoon, where we'll see a few more clouds and dry weather for the most part.
I did, but I couldn't find an off ramp to get the commercial in there.
That's fine.
Tomorrow, about 72 once again. I think Thursday's our better chance of showers.
This will be a super short segment,
get into
but
the upper 70s.
We can shout out O'Toole for graduating his first year of law school, and we got a couple super chats.
For over 20 years, Newcomb Tree Service has been Asheville's trusted choice for tree removal, trimming, and emergency service. Fully insured, free estimates, and financing available. Call Newcomb if you need them. 828-777-1226. If you can't cut them, they'll nuke them.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
All about the presets.
That is the best new feature. It's like a car radio right on the app. There's a list of what's trending. There's all the podcasts. I love it.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio. Missing football? Nonsense.
Oh, by the way, I am going to have to take tomorrow.
Sportsocracy.
This is like the spark we
There is.
Say what?
I said I am going to have to take tomorrow. I've got a meeting at
ESPN
2:30.
Asheville.
We just love football.
Oh, okay.
Lap.
I tried to avoid it, but it was
Looking to buy or
unavoidable.
sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with EXP Real.
All right, Tim.
Proud to be the #1.
We've got a
real estate
thing.
team in
You know, we've got a
Franklin
thing
County.
at iHeart
Give us
tomorrow,
a call,
right?
828-774.
Yes.
Okay.
Here for what matters most.
Just in case
You.
somebody's listening, I don't want to say what it is.
Welcome to Harvest Farms.
Not that I think
where
they
the
would
best
be listening.
organic or natural products are waiting for you.
Right.
Where the fields are filled with flavorful delights.
I'm just going to combine everything into one
every
day.
bite is backed with the high.
Right on.
I'm going to show up for the
This is a
sales
place
meeting,
of
too. I've been talking to
affordable
Zach the
organic
last
adventure,
couple days.
Where freshness reigns supreme. That can only be found at Ingles.
We've
Harvest
got some
Farms
things I
Organics.
want to at least give the
You'll love
sales
what's
team
inside.
a chance to
This is
do
JW
something
Whitley,
with.
General Manager at
Good luck.
Parks Community Heroes. Corey
Notice I didn't
Short
say
and the
they
entire
would.
team at
I
Silver
said I
Oaks,
was going to give
who
them a
converted
chance
their
to.
music venue in Black Mountain
There's one that'll take it and run with
zone
it.
in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong
Which is
Disaster
the whole
Relief,
reason I'm showing up
dedicated
to do it.
providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
We are back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. I'm coming to you live from the Ingles studio. He is in the NFLDraft.net Mullet Manor,
Which was supposed to be shuttered. We were going to have some work done. We had a crew that was coming in here. They're just standing out in the hall now. Like, what do we do now? You're
like,
in
wait
it.
a minute. We are we're getting ready to take the top of the hour break here. When we come back, we will give you the second half of the damn it's early NFL mock draft from yesterday. The final 16 picks of the mock draft here. But we do have some things to clean up in the YouTube chat. I want to congratulate Timothy O'Toole He officially finished his first year of law school yesterday. 2 years to go. So congratulations to Timothy. He's way smarter than any of us.
For sure. That was something my family wanted me to do, and then they met me. And they went, nope, you're too stupid to do that.
Yep.
You're going to have to talk about sports on the radio.
We got a super chat from Red Sea.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
And Red Sea says, I'm just here to judge Arizona's pick in this here little exercise of the damn it's too early mock draft, which
I think you'll like it.
Expect nothing less from
I
Red
think
Sea.
you'll like it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I would like it. I feel very sure that every team that picks in the top 20-ish picks, and Arizona's way later than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's in that top 20, you should feel pretty good because you walked away with a really good player that shouldn't have been there because there are too many quarterbacks.
All right, and we've got two from Sir Jimothy.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
All right, Sir Jimothy first says, any leads on tickets Miami versus Carolina? So this is a gift for the in-laws?
If you're talking about...
Is that the Dolphins and the Panthers? Or
that's what that would have to be because I know Miami doesn't play Carolina.
Okay.
If they did, we would be there. That's got to be Dolphins-Panthers.
Okay. All right. He said thanks in advance. If we find out anything, Jimothy, we will let you know. And the second one says, side note, thank you for quiet mics during the first ad airing. Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we always try to not say things on the YouTube stream during our sponsors. It doesn't always work. Because sometimes we actually do have to communicate with each other of, hey, you just went over 14 minutes in the last segment, which happened in the last one.
It absolutely
We can't always help that, but we try to when we can.
That's right, which means it is time for another break. When we return, it'll be the top of the hour, and it'll be time for round two, part two, I guess we should say, part two of the Damn It's Early NFL mock draft here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
ESPN Asheville, your mountain weather forecast.
Great for outdoor stuff this afternoon. Plenty of clear sky and sunshine around, and it looks like that's going to stick around here right through tomorrow afternoon.
Back at 30 after.
Weather for the
10
most part. I mean, there may be a passing shower tomorrow, but not much rain. Today's 72. Tomorrow, about 72 once again. I think Thursday's our better chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs will get into the upper 70s. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Newcomb Tree Service.
For over 20 years, Newcomb Tree Service has been Asheville's trusted choice for tree removal, trimming, and emergency service. Fully insured, free estimates, and financing available. Call Newcomb if you need them. 828-777-1226. If you can't cut them, they'll nuke them.
How do you spot the all-new Nissan Rogue Rock Creek? Here's a hint. It's got all-terrain tires, a tubular roof rack you can't miss, and it's tough inside and out with lava red detail. You'll also find it in its natural habitat, climbing mountains, attacking rugged trails, and never backing down from any adventure. The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Intelligent all-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions. Always secure cargo. Heavy loading of the vehicle with cargo, especially on the roof, will affect the handling and stability of the vehicle.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLS Consumer Access.
Rocket Mortgage has Country Roads playing in the back of their commercial, and I just realized
Has
that.
anyone worked with Fiddlenecks?
Really?
That makes me want to go buy a house with Rocket
We
Mortgage.
just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air.
I mean, I'm not
Who's up
going
for that
to,
challenge?
but it makes me want to.
To hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/credit card.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody Ward.
And
we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Did I send you the mock drive?
2 days after lean, we was in the driveway
No, sir.
waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people
Sending
calling,
it now.
needing trees removed and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months,
I meant to do
trees
that,
for our
but
neighbors.
apparently I didn't.
Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promises, meaning if we say we're going to be there,
I can't hear the end of
In
this commercial
Sparks,
now without
we
laughing.
live how we were raised.
When you call the Chainsaw Brothers,
Neither can I.
family, we're good at what we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs, call the Chainsaw Brothers. 828-316-1013. Or find us on Facebook. See how we treat our family.
Are you still covered up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013. That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we're Western North Carolina strong.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the hardest hit areas in those first hours. Like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
From the Ingles studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, money. That's money. Enter it now.
Go to ESPNAVL.com to play, and good luck.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We are the Sportsocracy, and we are heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app and seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chat while you're watching our gross faces on YouTube. I don't know why anyone would ever do that, but we appreciate everybody who does. Tunes in to watch me pick my teeth while Jeremy's talking.
Yeah, I'm just glad everybody else got to see that, and that wasn't reserved for Jeremy only. Because, see, I can see you in the breaks. So all those things you think you're doing when nobody's watching, unfortunately, I have to because it's on the preview screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of Mullet Manor, is that I have 4 screens surrounding me so I can see all things.
It's also the beauty of not really caring.
Trust me.
I'm ugly anyway. It's not going to affect anybody's opinion if they have to watch me pick my teeth for 2 minutes.
It didn't do much for me. Just let that be known.
Just let that be known.
Maybe you could care a little.
Maybe just a tad.
Un poco.
Good. A couple of super here to hit before we get underway with the business of the day.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
Clean up from last hour's college football discussion. Soaring Eagle says how other college programs are viewed. Colorado, That entitled millennial family from Family Guy.
Yes, the hipster doofus. I don't know his name. I met a guy the other day that he literally could do every voice from Family Guy. And I just sat there and it was hilarious.
But see, this is where we're at now, Tar Heel fans. We're the new Colorado.
Oh,
just in case you were wondering, how so? It's exactly the same. Program that has not been good ever now has all of the attention on it, and the expectations are going to be way too high.
You're talking about football. I was talking about the program on the whole.
No.
Yeah,
No,
Carolina. Okay, Carolina's perception
the football
nationally.
program.
Carolina's perception nationally is, how do I put this delicately? You're the kid that was involved in crew. Nobody really knew what it was. And we really only thought it was for rich kids.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know that we're going to get along because you crew. And I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that
I feel like I feel like you made a noun a verb, and we don't like that because I don't know what that means.
And then from Long This.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
This regarding today's business, which is the part 2 of the 2026 Damn It's Early NFL mock draft. Long This says, I don't see part 1 of the mock on the website. Who did the Rams take with the Atlanta pick? Well,
that has not happened yet.
Good thing you tuned in today.
Yes. Because you're going to get to see your team.
You tuned in today.
You're going to get to see your team get 2 players. Notice I did not say they're going to draft 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that I used very specific verbiage because one of those picks might be involved in a maneuver.
All right, we actually have 2 more super chats here, so let's hit these before we get into it.
Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
All right, this one from Dana R. Dana says, rivalries come down to what gets shown nationally. I remember the ASU basketball coach's tantrum versus the U of A Wildcats getting national attention.
Yeah, that's when Bobby Hurley lost his mind.
Yeah.
The thing, look, if there's something very much to that.
Lose their temper.
Look, there's very much something to that. If you think about the erosion of college basketball, have you noticed that the erosion of college basketball happened when ESPN stopped showing games every single night of the week? The erosion of baseball happened when ESPN stopped showing games every single night of the week. That's not irony. Now, I would say and I'm not saying this just because, the symbol's on the wall, and they give us a platform here, but ESPN and Fox and all the others, they do kind of control the narrative. And they try to stay out in front of things. When your interest in college basketball wanes, they stop showing it in premium spots. So you start seeing more 10:30, 11 o'clock Arizona State games because there's nothing else to fill that time. And now they'd rather show you a Utah State, Colorado State football game at 10 o'clock on a Friday night than ever show you any form of baseball or college basketball.
Yes.
And I will say this, and Gambit fan, he took the words right out of my mouth. There's a reason that the NHL went after the ESPN deal. Notice that one of the only sports right now whose popularity is trending upward is the NHL. Mm-hmm. That started from a low spot in America, but, I'll be honest with you. There's a sports bar literally right below my house. I'm there a lot. There's been hockey on every single time I've been down there for the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen an NBA game because there wasn't a hockey game on. That tells me a lot.
Yeah. I stay out of sports bars when it's not football season.
I don't need it to be a sports bar. It's the last word's the important one, not the former.
Just bar.
Bar.
Just bar in general.
Bingo.
All right, one more from Soaring Eagle.
Here comes the Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right, he says, oh, my days, I just saw this on JPA Football. An anonymous Colorado fan is suing the NFL for over $100 million due to emotional distress that he got from watching Shedeur slide to the 5th round. That's not a joke.
Okay, can we sue Colorado for the emotional distress of having to talk about the most irrelevant program in all of college football this much?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, that works both ways. Your emotional distress.
To think that the NFL owes you something after you have been the earwig of college football for 2 years.
Yeah, here would be my response to that anonymous Colorado fan. You think it was hard for you to watch him slide? How hard do you think it was for somebody that knew the slide was kept? Not, again, to the level that it happened. Mm-hmm. How hard do you think it was for a guy that looks like Fat Luke Combs to know that's coming and then deal with all the nonsense that got thrown his way? I've been an analyst for the NFL draft for 15 years. I've been called things in the last 2 weeks that I've never been called before in my life, solely because I told you the information before it happened. Mm-hmm. And then it was even worse than I told you.
Yep.
That was a nice way of saying, anonymous Colorado fan, you can get falafeled. How about that?
No doubt about it. Jimothy says UNC is not coattail riding, unlike Colorado.
For sure.
I beg to differ.
I don't think they are. Look, that's a program with a lot of money.
Why did they hire Bill Belichick in the first place?
Because he was the best coach on the market. That's one of those. That's an argument that I'll die on that hill. He's the best coach on the market.
Okay. All right.
That's the same reason Notre Dame hired Charlie Weiss a handful of years ago.
Had nothing to do with the brand and improving the brand and all of that.
It gave you a bit of cachet. It was. I think what gets lost in this is I think what you're trying to say is that you hired him so people would talk about you. I feel like when people say that, you do seem to be losing the fact that, do you even remember the names of the other guys that were up for that job?
For the Carolina job?
Yes. There were three names.
Yeah, there were nobodies.
John Sumrall was one of them.
Right.
Who I know who he is, because I think he's a good coach. He could walk in our studio right now, start doing naked jumping jacks behind you, and people would go, hey, who's the naked guy? Nobody would go, that's John Sumrall. He'd coach at Tulane. Nope, because you don't know who he is. Mm-hmm. Bill Belichick was the best coach on the market. Did it help that he came with some cachet? Sure.
Mm-hmm. And your stock's never been higher. Football.
I would agree with that.
Basketball, we all know what that is. Mm-hmm. That's a machine that nobody could really affect. You could bring in Phil Jackson, and it's not really going to lift the basketball program much more than it already is. Yeah,
much more, sure.
Not much.
But it wouldn't hurt.
It wouldn't. Absolutely not.
Right now with your current
coach,
but
now you take the football program, who's had, 2 good years in the last 40? And you bring in Bill Belichick, and now everybody's paying attention. Now everybody's excited. Now recruits are excited to come talk to you.
Now, with your current affect at North Carolina basketball, you don't have to bring in Phil Jackson. You could bring in Dr. Phil, and I would feel better about what you're doing than what you're currently doing.
It would lift the program.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
No, sir. No, you cannot. It is the Sportsocracy, and let's get into it. The damn it's early NFL mock draft for 2026. The summer scouting season is underway. And it's time to just plant the flag. See where we stand as we are a year away from the draft, and we'll be following college football much more closely, much more in depth here in the Sportsocracy throughout the season. Just to give you the information that you need to be better prepared, more prepared this year than you were going into the draft this past year, which is going to be hard to do.
For sure. I actually have a meeting tomorrow, so we will not be on tomorrow. I have a meeting that it's got to happen, and it's schedule's lining up. We can keep doing this, or I can just throw a spoke in the wheel and say we're going to do this now.
Yep.
That it could be even cooler than we're telling you now.
Indeed.
I'm hoping to have some announcements in the coming weeks.
We got through 16 picks yesterday in the in the first iteration of the Damn It's Too Early mock draft. 4 quarterbacks went off the board of the first 4 picks. And then we're now to the bottom half of the first round. And you've got the Chicago Bears at number 17.
I think this was probably the easiest pick in this entire exercise. What was the thing we were shocked that the Bears did not walk out of this last draft with?
A running back.
Yeah, there's one on the board, and his name's Jeremiah Love. I am dumbfounded that Chicago did not draft a running back. Knowing Ben the way that I do, knowing that offense the way that I do, and I get it, sometimes the board doesn't line up your way. Sometimes things don't go the way you want them to go. I cannot fathom Kyle Monagai being the only running back you selected. Now, I am not quite as over the moon as Todd McShay, who just went on a great big tirade about how he loves Love. He did the same thing with Jordan Love, just to throw that out there, who I also didn't love. I think his name should be Jeremiah Like, because I like him. He's the best running back in his class. I don't think that's all that close. Mm-hmm. There is one guy that I like better than everybody else. We're going to talk about him before this is all said and done. Jeremiah Love's a dog. I don't know that he is. I saw him at 4 in a mock leading up to this. And I went, I don't know what you possibly saw to get him that high. But here at 17, I'm okay with that. I think he's dynamic enough that he can be a piece of the puzzle. Right now, I don't feel like if there's one thing that's going to completely uproot the Chicago Bears this year, I don't think they have the pieces at running back to run this offense the way that Ben wants to. I believe Tank has died. Tank has disappeared. If he can hear me, I cannot hear him. I believe there was just a catastrophic power failure in the Ingles studio.
All-terrain tires, tubular roof-rack canvas, and it's tough inside and out with Robert Red Newton. Also find its natural habitat, on mountains, attacking rugged trails, and never backing down from any adventure.
I can see you again.
Utility mode right now, like checking. It's always under shot. It's always bigger. Especially it's never been so important to not break.
Are you there?
I can hear you.
Okay. You can hear through the brick?
So you're never more than
I do not know the answer to that.
I cannot right now.
70 or so. For even quicker
I cannot right now.
Treadmill. It's all right. Excited about the 2025 free to run.
Nope. Let me guess. You had a power failure of some kind.
It must have been because everything blipped out.
Yeah. Yeah, because the bricks reset. You went completely
off. Okay.
So the brick's resetting itself because it's doing that ringy thing in my ear.
All right. Let me see.
I was on a nice tirade about the Bears, too.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, your brick's completely won't let me connect.
All right, I'm resetting it right now.
Okay.
In the 2 seconds that I did see, what's his face the other day? He showed me how to reset it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, on the bright side, they can still hear us on YouTube.
Quickly for exploring investment opportunity.
All right, you got it?
The Marshall with EXP Realty.
Right.
Nope.
Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor.
What in the hell?
It's the compound music that's beautiful and global. Dan, North Carolina. This year's lineup has Fireside Collective, Melissa Carver, the Shedhouse Trio featuring Nicholson.
It's completely disconnected because usually it'll do that forever.
Logan Camp Henry at the Outdoor School, and for every ticket purchase, Lake Logan will donate $1 to support this year's participating.
Yeah, it's on.
Camping tickets on sale now.
Let me reset the. I'll reset the site and see if that changes anything.
I was going to say close it out and just completely
start her all over again.
Yeah.
That's weird. I had literally not 5 minutes before we came on air, I had a power failure as well. Oh.
Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there. We are here for you.
To tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who's listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local.
I love technology.
Text radio to 52886.
No luck.
Nope, just keeps ringing.
You may receive up to 4 messages a month.
God damn it.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
I've closed the browser. I've opened a new browser. I've done everything I can do. But it only rings once.
Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
iHeart app just looks better. Best feature of a car radio on the app. It's the presence. Super instant.
Reset it again.
I've done it 3 times.
No, I'm resetting it again.
Oh.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like fences. House with a big yard and a white picket fence was always the dream. But then you saw the price to install a fence and you're wondering if the color is driving the price up. Nobody ever dreams of a beige or a gray picket fence, right? So maybe those fences are cheaper. But no, they're not. Then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you
Still ringing. Still ringing. I'll close it completely out again. But doop. Nope. Just ringing and ringing. Yeah. Well, I mean, we give it another minute, but we give it another minute. You just reset it. But yeah, I mean, it's just not connecting at all. Only thing I know to do is see if 2 is active. If it's down... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. I'm trying this one more time just in case. Nah, it's completely fried. Well, hello, friends. I don't know what that was. That was bizarre, to say the least. I got nothing. I don't know what happened. I don't know where we went. I don't know what's wrong with the brick. But I appreciate those of you that stuck around. So we are at pick 17. Tank has to go resolve all of the potential kerfuffles because I am not the only one that uses that brick. So we have an afternoon show that he has to go make sure is actually going to happen because the brick does not work. So thankfully we are off tomorrow. So we got 2 days to fix it before we have to do Thursday. We've had weird power stuff around. My power's blinked off twice. Power of the studio completely shut down. So apologies for that. We had to finish up the radio show, and then now I am back here. So 17 went Jeremiah Love to the Chicago Bears. I don't love as much as Todd McShay does, as much as some other guys do. I mean, I've seen Jeremiah Love as high as 4. To me, that's I don't. I liked what I saw. This is kind of Ashton Genty all over again. I liked what I saw. I don't necessarily think it was as special as what everybody else did. Now, I reserve the right to change my opinion this year. He did have a super high missed tackle rate. He averaged like 7 yards a carry. I get it. I just think a lot of that came from. I think a lot of that came from having Riley Leonard as your quarterback. This year, you're not going to have the benefit of a higher level veteran quarterback, so we'll see what he does with that. All right, so now we just kick back into this the way that we did before. I'm going to have to move some windows around so I can see stuff. 18, the Denver Broncos. LT Overton, edge rusher out of Alabama. It's a big kid. You're going to see a lot more 5-techs in this class. I don't necessarily love the standing edges as much. You still have some, but you've got way more Keldrick Falks. You've got way more LT Overtons. You got way more of those guys and way less TJ Parkers and Reuben Bain. They're still there. It's just you get a lot more guys like Overton. I think he comes in as a 5-tech, really good against the run last year in his first real work as a true starter. And my phone is ringing. That's always fun. But I think he will have a productive year at Alabama, and that will either vault him up into the top 15. I will struggle with 5-techs of how high do you take these guys? How high do you take these guys when you don't know exactly how much effect they can have? It's an interesting – he will be an interesting case study because I think he is a top 15 talent in this class if he takes that step forward. It's just a question of if he does or not. Add him here to Denver. Denver seems to just want to keep adding pieces to the defense, and we're going to be wicked on defense, and we'll be fine on offense. 19, the Seattle Seahawks. One of the things I think we're going to talk about a lot during this process is the receivers and how weird this receiver class is. You can see on the screen right here that you got Jordan Tyson, Eric Singleton, Denzel Boston, Kevin Concepcion. That's really high for a slot guy. The one that I trust the most is Carnell Tate. He's got a true NFL body build, 6'3", can play on the outside, was productive last year. Now he is going to be the 2 to Jeremiah Smith. He kind of fills that Emeka Ibuka role in terms of target share. They also have a high-level tight end that's coming in for Purdue, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how the target share works. I am in like with Tate. He is the safest of all the receivers in this class. I like the raw talent on Jordan Tyson better. I think Eric Singleton could be special at Auburn. But Tate's the one that I know is going to be up here. It's kind of like Ibuka last year. I don't know that you have the super high upside, but I know you have a really safe floor. So that gives you an outside receiver to the Seattle Seahawks. Arizona at 20. Red Sea, I know I'm hoping he has made it back for this pick because I think he's going to like this one because he really wanted to add pass rush to his Arizona Cardinals. PFF's really low on this guy, and I'm not 100% sure I understand why. It's Mateo Uiagalelei. I have to refrain from calling him Mateo with his last name. It's DJ Uiagalelei's brother. super high-end, 5-star recruit, and this is the year he gets to be the guy. The grades are not knock you over. Had 9 sacks last year, had 18 quarterback hurries, quarterback pressures. It didn't wow you, but you also got to realize they had 3 guys go in the top 100. So you had Jamari Caldwell, Jordan Birch, and Derek Harmon. Now he's the guy. So how does he, instead of just being kind of I felt like he was a dust-up guy, that he was the dustpan. Everybody else did the work, and he just kind of came through and did that. I like the idea of adding this to the defense. Red Sea said, damn the offense. I don't love this class offensively. I don't yet. I'm not saying that I'm not going to. It's, you get to a point here where, I'm just going to level you. From 10 to 32, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 total offensive players in 22 selections. One of them's a quarterback, and 2 of them are running backs. I don't love this class. From a weapon standpoint. Next year, the real work is going to come from Zach Hurst and David Smith. I agree with you on right tackle. I'm just and since you're here, I'm going to make this selection. Then I'm going to show you the problem that I have there. So we had a lot of tackles go early. It kind of falls off. I do like Isaiah World. He's going to go I can't remember exactly who he went to. Actually, I think he goes next. So we just fade these two things into each other. Isaiah World, to me, is either going to be a really good left tackle, which is what everybody at Oregon wants to tell you. I've heard him comp to Penei Sewell. He is a house. But I think there's also a possibility he comes in, he doesn't quite adjust to Oregon as well. I don't see a path that he ends up at right tackle without being just a hell of a project. So I agree with you. I would be looking more. Blake Miller, the kid out of Clemson, is the one that I did not do a second round. I did have him out next to Arizona's name of that's a guy I'm going to be targeting in round 2. I'm not there yet to where he can go in the first round. Some other people are. I'm not there on Blake Miller. So that's the reason I did that. Here at 21 to the Houston Texans. Let me verify that. It was Isaiah World. So those two things just kind of fade right into each other. On the high side, Isaiah World is going to be a Ariante Ursery on steroids. He's 6'8". They list him at 310. I got news for you. That kid's way heavier than that. He's way heavier than 310. Started at Nevada. He is transferring to Oregon for this year. Going to play left tackle for them, I believe. Maybe on the right side. If he's on the right side, then that would make more sense to Arizona. But everything I heard was he was going to play on the left. I think there's a lot of raw potential in him. He scares the absolute heebie-jeebers out of me. Because he wasn't that great at Nevada. He's young. But now you're going to put him in the Big Ten and tell me that all of a sudden this kid's just going to be a no-doubter? I hedged my bets because Oregon does scream his praises. But I'm not jumping up and down about it. 22, the LA Rams. This is the Atlanta selection. Now we're going to get into some of this kid could either be really good or this kid could be really bad. Holy shit, I didn't realize that. I did not realize PFF was this low on this kid. Evan Stewart, wide receiver out of Oregon. There's a chance that Evan Stewart goes to the combine next year and runs a 4.22. He may be the fastest player on field that I've ever evaluated. He is thin. He is an outside receiver, which it is very rare for guys that are this fast to be guys that have played on the outside. And I'll show you right here. He only played 72 slot snaps. Only played 62 in 2023. That was at Texas A&M. This is a kid that's this fast and actually does project to be an outside receiver. I look at the LA Rams. I love what they're doing with these bigger Puka Nakua, Jordan Whittington, Isaac Tesla was a guy that I thought would work out perfectly for them. You got to have somebody that can consistently beat you over the top. Evan Stewart can consistently beat you over the top. This is a big year for him. I think PFF is too low on him. I think some people are too high on him. I've seen him as high as the top 15. I think this is more where he slots in as a true, honest-to-God deep threat. Alex S. asked me, did Caleb Banks die? No, Caleb Banks does go in this. It just not yet. I'm not as high on Caleb Banks as of right now, but there's a reason for that. Red Sea said Zachariah Branch, the former USC guy. I don't have him in the first round, but he was one of the first guys that I didn't have in the first round. The production was just not there. Look, he's elite with the ball in his hands. He's another one kind of like Luther Burden. Right now, it's really hard to get the ball in his hands. That could all change at Georgia. Every bit of that could change at Georgia because he does have the talent to do that. Right now, it's projection. You got to remember, when I do these things, especially, this is way earlier than I usually do this, I have to kind of protect myself with safer players because I don't want to have a guy in my initial mock that winds up going in the 6th round. So there are some boom or bust guys that haven't gone yet that I feel good about, but I don't feel great about. 23 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. If I keep mocking quarterbacks to them, maybe one day they'll actually take one. Sam Leavitt. I'm going to say this kid's name a bajillion times. Everybody talked last year about Cam Scadaboo. When we saw them at the Peach Bowl and when I saw them on tape, I kept looking at the quarterback going, this quarterback's better than people give him credit for. Just straight up, he's better than people give him credit for. Then I started noticing the receiver, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. I think Sam Leavitt is what you're being sold that Cade Klubnik is. A guy that it took some time, and when it clicked, and now it's just going to keep clicking. Arizona State's going to be a pass-first team this upcoming season. I think there's a possibility you see Sam Leavitt throw up numbers that are stupid. He threw for almost 3,000 yards last year, 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and he did that with Cam Scadaboo being the featured piece of the offense. Now he's the featured piece of the offense. I like Leavitt. I like Leavitt better than Klubnik. And so I have him going right here at 23 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry, I have to check this. Okay. Indeed. All right, so apparently if I had reset my computer, all of those things would have worked. Now we know. So, for future reference, if the brick ever goes down, somebody tell me to reset my computer. Tay said, who did the Saints pick? It was Garrett Nussmeier at the top of this draft. We got Sam Leavitt going here at 23 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 24, the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to give them the corner that they didn't draft this past year. This is another one of those kids that I'm going to say his name a lot. He was at Virginia Tech. Now he's going to LSU, and I think he's going to be a dog. LSU added a ton defensively. In our Living the Dream tour, I'm telling you, I'm targeting LSU as a team I want to see very early because they have a bunch of transfer guys. And I would really like to get there before their ticket prices go out of bounds because they're going to. Mansour Delane. I think this kid's going to go to LSU and you're going to see all of the things that he wasn't asked to do at Virginia Tech. I compared it to Trey Amos when we did this on radio. Trey Amos went to Ole Miss and we had this issue that he couldn't play zone, on and on and on. It wasn't that he couldn't do it. It was he wasn't asked to do it. Now he goes to LSU, and I'm telling you, he's going to play man, he's going to play zone, he's going to do a little bit of everything. And I think in the SEC, he's going to get a chance to show just how good he is. I loved him at Virginia Tech. Dorian Strong, to me, was the lesser of those two corners. Delane was the better of the two. And now you're going to see him in the SEC. I got him going right here at 24 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Tay, yes, you had the number one pick. Putting in work said Terrell still on the. We're gonna get to Avion Terrell. He does go in this exercise. You got to remember the thing about doing mocks this early. There's a lot of guesswork. I'm not telling you that the Saints are definitively the worst team in the league. I'm not telling you Avion Terrell doesn't go in the top 15. I'm trying to hedge my bets the best way humanly possible. That's why, now, I also do this usually 3 months later than this. I tend to be pretty accurate with who goes in one, just not necessarily who goes where. So, we'll get to Avion Terrell in just a second. 25 here, the Detroit Lions. I love this fit for this kid because I think he fits what they do so well. It's Deontay Lawson, linebacker out of Alabama. This kid is the hard-nosed run stopper, but that's what he's been asked to do. I don't think there's an actual drop-off with them losing Jahad Campbell going to Deontay Lawson. I think this kid's a dog, and you're going to see it this year. I love linebacker in this next class. I'm not a big proponent of taking off-ball linebackers or even on-ball linebackers for that matter this high. In this class, we've already had Anthony Hill Jr., I have Deontay Lawson here. In just the guys that didn't make it into this mock, we also have Suntarine Perkins from Ole Miss, Harold Perkins Jr. from LSU, Torian York from Texas A&M. I swear I thought there was another one. I could be wrong on that. I thought there was another one. Linebacker is really, really good, and that's coming off a year it being really, really bad. So I do think you're going to see linebackers go a little bit higher. I'm intrigued to see Lawson as the guy. I believe he's going to be the green dot. I believe he's going to be the signal caller. And it tends to be, and this was with Saban more than in their current situation, that green dot in Alabama gets a lot of credit, and they tend to scream up boards. Oh, sorry. Still a little hoarse, and having to do this by myself after I just had to do it on radio. A little taxing to the old vocal cords. All right, we're at 26 with the Los Angeles Chargers, and I will forewarn you, we have a trade coming up. If you listen to this on radio, I'm going to walk you through it with the next pick. But here, the Chargers at 26. I love this fit because they're going to need a standing edge, and this guy is one of my favorites in this class. High-end transfer, started at Stanford, transferred to Texas Tech. David Bailey, edge rusher, Stanford, 6'3", 240, perfect body type to be a standing edge in the NFL. Already has 12 sacks, one of the highest pressure rates of any edge rusher in the country. And that was on a Stanford defense where nobody else really could do shit. David Bailey, I think, is going to show up and show out at Texas Tech. I believe we're going to say his name a lot through this process. Goes right here at 26 to the Los Angeles Chargers. And now we have a trade. The New York Football Giants, who have the 34th pick. They also have, Spadudios. All right, so I'm going to have to put Donnie Gullets. It's Jackson Dart. I believe the Giants are going to have a really, really bad year. They may be the worst team in the NFL. I also think they're going to do the Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston thing way too long because they believe that Jackson Dart bought them another year. I have it on pretty good authority that it didn't. And if this team goes 3-14, 4-13, something like that, they're all fired. You're not bypassing Arch Manning. Not for Jackson Dart. It's just not happening. I also have it on good authority that the reason the Giants traded up was because they knew for a damn fact that Jackson Dart was not going to make it past the Rams. So, what we do here is we go 27 and 59 for 34, 102, and Jackson Dart. That equates to basically a third-round pick value. That's about what you get for a quarterback that you've had this year. So the Rams already had that number 22 pick that they've already made. They trade back 7 spots. They trade up 40 spots no. They trade back 40 spots, from the end of the second to the beginning of the fourth. And that's the equitable value there for Jackson Dart. He then becomes the quarterback of the future for the Los Angeles Rams. GG Gambling, yes. So the Giants, Josh Rosen, Jackson Dart. The difference is I don't think it will be that they don't believe in him. It will be in New York, you cannot bypass Arch Manning. Even if you believe in Jackson Dart, you will be crucified before you've even gotten an ass groove in your chair if you bypass him. So here, you've already got Malik Neighbors. I want to add another weapon. I go Jordan Tyson. Only 1 year of production. Played a lot last year. Had played virtually none the year before. 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. I think this kid can be a complete stud. 4.03 yards per route run is incredible. He did get hurt, which I feel like if he had played in the Peach Bowl, I think they would have beaten Texas. They became so one-dimensional, and they had to get Cam Scatterbo going. Not having Tyson, I feel like, that was when I really realized how good he actually was, because it completely stagnated the passing offense. Levitt found a way to make it work late, but not having his guy, I felt like that was where I went, damn, this kid's good. This kid's really good. And I think he can be an outside threat with Malik Neighbors. They can play inside, outside. If I remember correctly, he played about half of his snaps out of the slot. He was an inside, outside guy like Malik Neighbors. And that gives Arch Manning a chance to succeed. Kansas City Chiefs here at number 28. This is a player that I will go ahead and tell you Tank and I are going to talk about a lot over the course of the process. Nick Singleton, Penn State. When I saw this kid as a freshman, I said, that's Saquon Barkley 2.0. And Great North asked to see the draft board. Yes, you can see that. Let me hit the button here, and I will scroll through it while I'm talking about Nick Singleton. They have Katron Allen as well, which is going to keep him from putting up the super gaudy stats. So I'm not sure that Nick Singleton may fall to the second round. I don't think he should. I absolutely love this kid. I think he will end up being my number one running back in the class, even if that flies in the face of everybody else, because I've already seen what I need to see. This kid, as a young guy, was still the baddest man on the field. So there's no, he hit 21, 22 years old, and all of a sudden he went nuts. He's been the best among his peer group throughout virtually his entire time at Penn State. That means a lot to me. I think Nick Singleton can be a true dynamic three-down running back in the NFL. Here's the other side of this. I hate running back from here. There's the Hughes kid that started at Tulane that's now going to Oregon. I think he's going to put up some gaudy stats. I had some reservations about him on film going in. I don't know that those are going to be satiated at Oregon. They might be. Other than that, it's pretty ugly. You know, we're coming off the best running back class I've ever evaluated. This may be, outside of those top two guys, this may be one of the worst I've ever evaluated. So here Kansas City gets their guy early at 28's Nick Singleton from Penn State. 29, the Washington Commanders, a player I guarantee you we're going to talk about a lot. Nick Harbor, 6'5", 235, and runs a 4.340. May end up running faster than that. This kid is freak track fast. Does not have the best hands. And you look at the production there, only has 376 yards last year. Look at DK Metcalf. That's the comp. That's the best thing the best way I can evaluate Nick Harbor. He is DK Metcalf going into that last year at Ole Miss. The difference is I don't really feel like he has an A.J. Brown on the other side. So it's going to be a lot on him. He's going to have to produce for this team to be what they need to be. But in terms of just raw potential, Nick Harbor is tantalizing. Great North Sports said, are you using predicted wins? So this is how I think it would go. I don't have the schedule. So it's hard for me to predict wins without a schedule. I went through and picked the playoff teams, which is how I got the back end of the draft order. And then from there, I just played either, neither, both. Which team do I think is better? This is basically like a glorified reverse power rankings while factoring in AFC and NFC. It was the best way I knew to do it because I disagreed with Vegas wins a lot. I disagree with everybody else's power rankings a lot. And we're going to do power rankings on Thursday. So I didn't want to put mine out too far, so I had to jumble it up just a little bit. Buffalo Bills here at number 30. We got 3 picks left in this thing. Dylan Feynman, safety out of, he's at Oregon now, but he was at Purdue. The tape on him in 2023 was phenomenal. Last year, not as much. It was still good, but it wasn't great. And you can see here that PFF said the same thing that I did. I think this kid can be Javon Holland in terms of what comes out of Oregon. I know it's a different defense with Dan Lanning than it was with Javon Holland. I don't really care. I think Dylan Feynman can be that good. And he's good against the run. He's just a dog. I think Purdue was so bad defensively last year that he, playing as the center fielder, everything's happening in front of him. It kind of restricts his ability to be that kind of impact player. At Oregon, that's not going to be a problem because Oregon's got a shitload of players. Still trying to figure out how we're going to see Oregon this year. Have not figured that out yet. They do not factor into that 5x5. Great North Sports asking, he and Zach are recording some fantasy stuff tonight, asking what you guys want to see. Great North, I'll be reaching out to you after I finish this in 2 picks because I need to talk to you about something with that of how you want your imaging to look. All right, we are to 31 with the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is where Avion Terrell comes off the board. The problem with Avion Terrell, this is A.J. Terrell's brother of the Atlanta Falcons. He is really good, really sticky in coverage, really good against the run. Then we have this problem. He's 180 pounds. I never thought that weight mattered as much for corners as it does. Then I saw Quinyon Mitchell fall, and people kept telling me he's too thin. Okay, Quinyon Mitchell is one of the most aggressive, sticky corners I've ever seen. If he can fall, Avion Terrell can fall. Because he's listed at 180, I think he's closer to 170. That dude looks teeny tiny against higher level competition. I think he's really good, but I think there's going to be some yeah buts. I'm really curious to watch him this year. When we did this on the radio half an hour ago, I said Avion Terrell is what you tried to tell me Nate Wiggins was. Because I think Avion Terrell's better. I think the weight's going to hold him back to a point, especially playing the way that he does. Avion Terrell here at 31 of the Philadelphia Eagles. And then finally, the last pick of the first round, the Baltimore Ravens, who without seeing the schedule, reserve the right to change my mind. I think that's the best team in the NFL right now. I think that's your Super Bowl champion. Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida, 6'5", 325. This is a true nose. Obviously, the sack numbers are not as high. I believe it was Alex S. that asked me about Caleb Banks and did he die? No, it's none of that. Florida had a gigantic defensive line last year with Banks and Desmond Watson. Well, now they're all gone. Now it's Caleb Banks by himself. I think Caleb Banks is a really good player. I'm probably lower on him than others because I think a lot of what he does is be big and get in the way. I don't necessarily think he is always making plays. I'm not holding that against him because he didn't have to do that as much last year because Florida had a big rotation of defensive linemen. This year, I think this team's talented. They're just not as deep. So now Caleb Banks is going to have to show me all of these things. He's going to have to be that guy. He's going to have to take that nose tackle. There are certain things I want to see nose tackles do in college football. If you're passive, I'm not going to like that. And there were times last year, the underclassman of the group, the youngest of the group, he was a little bit passive. If that changes this year, he's going to go up. If now as the upperclassman, he's still passive, he's going to go down. That is the explanation of why Caleb Banks did not go until 32. He's also a specific fit because he has to go to a team that needs a nose tackle, because I think that is specifically where he plays. So Caleb Banks right here at 32. And that's a mock draft. You'll be able to see here in just a second. It's going to go up on the board. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, I'm going to have to narrow that down just a bit. Didn't plan on doing this with the one-man frame, but Tank had to fix all of the things. So I will slide this across right there, and then we'll drop that right there. I hate doing these this early, but here we are. Did a mock draft early. It's on the board. We've. Oh, I just also realized that I don't have that where it's supposed to be. Doop. No. Boop. There we go. All right. You can see all of it right there. I will scroll back to the top and scroll through it so you can see it all. Garrett Nussmeier there at 1 to the New Orleans Saints. Arch Manning at 2. Drew Aller, Lenora Sellers. 4 quarterbacks in the top 4. Then we get into the strength of the class. There are a lot of defensive players and linemen in this class. Reuben Bain Jr. of the Tennessee Titans. Peter Woods to the Cleveland Browns with the pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 picks in the top 6 for Cleveland. Francis Mauga from Miami at number 7 of the Miami Dolphins. Caleb Downs to the Colts. Caden Proctor at 9 to the San Francisco 49ers. T.J. Parker at 10 to the Minnesota Vikings. You can see the rest of them on your screen there. Appreciate you guys for working through this with us, because we did have some technical issues today. It's always fun when you work in a building that was built 414 years ago. Not necessarily built for the things that you do, and nobody tells you, hey, if it resets, you have to reset. Well, I can't really reset because we're in the middle of a stream. But I didn't know that. So we know that now going forward. And we got a mock draft in the books. I will be posting this on social media so you can comment your thoughts on how all this went. Players that you want me to look at. June 4th, we will be starting Womack Wednesdays in the Sportsocracy on our ESPN radio show. On that day, I will be starting the Daily Draft, that will be my podcast for the draft. That will go through the membership channels here, through Patreon, all of those different things. Not trying to make a killing there, just trying to make it worth the time. Know a lot of people really wanted that through the draft process. This process got away from me. I added some responsibilities that I wasn't expecting, and I do have a loving wife and all of those things. So I can't go through another year of not sleeping at all, and I got to really ration my time. I would start it early, and I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to start it early, to be 100% honest with you. I may start it earlier. But Bill Workman, who's putting in work, you see him there, you will hear a lot from him during this process. Bill does great work. Unbelievably great work. He was so helpful to me through this last process. He is a partner with me on NFLDraft.net. I think he's such a fucking smart guy. And I'm so excited for his work to be put out in front of you in this process. We also have Bryce Dial, who is the sideline scout, another really bright guy, and a guy that will argue to the death with me, because we do not see things. We don't see things the same way, but he always has a good excuse, or a good, not even excuse, I shouldn't say excuse because it makes it sound like he did something wrong. He always has a good explanation for why he feels the way he does. And we've got a few other guys that are going to be coming in over the course of time. Obviously, we'll have Zach Hurst and David Smith. Their focus is on the fantasy football stuff, which I will love you forever for taking that off of my plate. That will be coming out on the channel probably, I think they're convening tonight. I am in and out tomorrow because I've got a couple meetings for Living the Dream Part 2. Hopefully have some good stuff to announce to you guys in the coming weeks there, including what the 5x5 is going to look like. I'm very, very excited for that. And other than that, that's a mock draft. Damn, it's early. Too early to me. I don't know that I'll ever do one this early again, but people seem to enjoy it. People seem to like it, and that's what we're here for, is to do the things that you guys want to see and the things that you'll enjoy. Sir Timothy said, when do the daily drafts start back? I can't tell you a definitive on that. Let's see. I will say that because that part of this is going to change. We will, when the time is right, we'll explain to you why that went away and how it's going to change. It's going to be a really big part of the show after it was a non-existent part of the show for a handful of months. So it's something that we're trying to make our lives a little bit easier. We're trying to get Tank home to his family a little earlier. We're trying to get material to me earlier so that we can put it out in the way that it's supposed to be. So when do those restart? I would say a safe time would be in that June 4th area. This month we're going to be in and out. I am working hard on a golf tournament. I am working hard on living the dream. I'm working hard on I'm working hard on the draft stuff, and I'm trying to take this as a rest period where I still do things that I enjoy and stuff like that. So trying not to overwork myself, but also want to. June 4th is basically when we relaunch the show. If you've been around for long enough, you know that every year we add some things, we take some things away. There'll be some new elements. There are a lot of things we're really excited about. The daily draft is one of those that's going to be a way bigger piece of what we do. And we're trying to find the right people to do all of these things from the sponsorship level. So, speaking of that, if anybody owns a business, knows a business owner, anything like that, you can reach me, Jeremy@thesportsocracy.com. May is the booking month. This is the month where I'm meeting with people a lot, trying to figure out how many things we can do this season and try to grow this thing more and more and more. Because now we're so lucky with the sponsors that we have and the fact that, we just chuck things out there and they go, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That sounds fun. So thank you to Ingles Markets, Parks Ford, Hendersonville, Clarissa Sales, WNC.com, and Bears Smokehouse Barbecue. That's a mock draft. I am going to go into Mullet Manor and find a bite of food because I haven't eaten anything all day. But this has been the 2026, damn it's early, mock draft part 2. We will see you guys on Thursday. We are off tomorrow. We have an event, or we have a meeting in the morning. We have an event around lunchtime tomorrow, and then I have a couple meetings in the afternoon. So we will be back on Thursday with the Sportsocracy, and we will see you guys then.